Testing, 1 2 1 2, testing microphone. Testing microphone. Testing, 1 2 1 2, testing. Testing, 1 2 1 2. Hello, testing, 1 2 1 2 1 2 3, testing. How's the mic today? All right, we're going to go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're going to live now. There we go. All good. Let me change the camera. Hi guys, how's it going? Welcome to VR Essentials, where we talk about the practical uses of virtual reality and where you can get all your go-to HP content right here, right now, because that's what we do a lot. So guys, nice to see you. Yellow Mellow, thanks for coming to the channel. Very, very cool of you. Thanks for following me on, is that, don't know your name, follow me on TT, I guess. Bobby, thank you very much for popping to the channel as well. Nice to see you guys. Hope you guys are okay. Thanks for helping me with the mic setup. So let's just jump right into today's topic, which is all about, of course, the HP Reverb G2. Sorry, what am I saying? The HP Omnicept, of course. So let's just check out the trailer. Let me just stop this for a minute. So this was the trailer that had come out not too long ago. Well, I mean, I think it was a while back already. So let me just turn this on. All right, there we go. And let's just play the video just to, you know, give us a little bit of a memory jog, as they say. So let me just bring up the volume. There we go. Foop, foop.
Introducing HP Omnicept, an intelligent XR platform that completely changes the dynamic of how humans interact with technology. Sensors in the headset monitor muscle movement, heart rate, pupil size, and gaze to capture the levels of brain power exerted. Now, users' natural responses drive their experiences in the moment. By combining sensor data with machine learning, software developers get real-time insights to tailor XR experiences for faster and better outcomes. Across industries, HP Omnicept is powering advanced XR solutions that can adapt to each user. Redefining how we train, improve well-being, create, and collaborate. HP Omnicept-powered apps help ensure the capture and transfer of data comply with GDPR, keeping user data confidential. Groundbreaking hardware meets transformative software. This is HP Omnicept, a revolution in XR.
really, really amazing. I have to say that the actual trailer looked completely mind-boggling, right? Really cool stuff, really amazing stuff. Are you guys excited about the Omnicept? Is this something that you guys will want to see in future headsets? Do you want all this kind of data tracking, all these, I don't know, these kind of things that, you know, are coming to VR? Is this exciting to VR? What do you guys think? Obviously, the news that they're actually going to be releasing
a wellness routine
now
of proper exercise,
so
healthy eating, and enough sleep can boost the body's immunity. But that's not enough.
70% of your body's immunity lies in the gut. A complete wellness routine builds up your gut defense.
Vitagen Less Sugar has probiotics and prebiotics, which strengthen your gut for a healthy digestive system. Complete your gut defense with Vitagen Less Sugar.
Tech Radar. I mean,
Hello everybody and welcome back. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your one channel for everything VR related. Today, we're ranking 5 years of VR games. This is a yearly video that I put out where I score my entire VR library going from my least to most favorite games. Now this does of course include PC VR, PlayStation VR, and Oculus Quest titles. Last year you guys absolutely loved this video and today's is going to be 3 times as long. Just to keep things moving along, the lower a game is scored, the less time I will spend on it. If your favorite game didn't make the list, let me know what it is in the comments below, and I'm sure you'll see it here next year. Okay, so like I said, this list is huge, so let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. We're going to start this list off with all the games that score under a 7.0. These are titles that are either just okay, not a great value, their multiplayer base has dried up, or there's just some other significant reason why you shouldn't purchase the game right now in 2021. Let's just start off with my least favorite VR experience, which was Rift VR. Now this was supposed to be the Rock Band of VR, but not a single instrument was fun to play. Now another experience that really isn't worth your time is Thunder God. While it's a really nice looking hammer throwing wave shooter, there's almost no variety and it's really short. So unless you find these titles on a steep discount, I would just avoid them. Now another VR title with very few redeeming qualities is Wolfenstein Cyberpilot. It's extremely short and fails to deliver that visceral combat that we've come to love from the Wolfenstein series. It also launched with a series of bugs, some of which have never been resolved. Now our next title is also a very poor value, but it's actually a really cool experience, and that's Batman VR. This was a PlayStation VR launch title from 2017. The only problem is, it's over the second it starts to get good. Now if this was a $5 continuing series, I would absolutely eat it up. But $20 for about 40 minutes of gameplay is just not worth it. Okay, so next up is a group of dead VR multiplayer games. Now some of these were actually quite excellent at launch, but you can't have a multiplayer game without a player base. Now this includes Hover Junkers, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Space Junkies, Deathlab, Air Ranger, Frostpoint VR Proving Grounds, Space Team, Virtual Battlegrounds, and Cookout, a Sandwich Tale. Now if you have a few friends interested in coming along for the ride, Star Trek Bridge Crew, Space Team, and Cookout are still very viable games, and they're all a blast to play with your friends. I just don't want you to pick up the game solo and go looking for people online because you will be disappointed. Now Virtual Battlegrounds still has updates coming out, so maybe that'll revitalize the player base. Deathlab can be quite fun alone, and Air Ranger has a Quest version coming out, currently on side quest called Hybo. Okay, so let's move into some good news with the games that rank between 7.0 and 7.9. Now these are good games. If you are a fan of the specific genre, or you find them on a discount, they're worth checking out. So first up is Guns & Stories Bulletproof VR. This is a Western-themed wave shooter with some comical narration. There's a nice amount of content and variety in weapons and levels at a low price, but when it comes to wave shooters, there's just better options. Now a similar title to some degree is Mason Grace. This is a wave-based melee game with some hilarious combat. It's a blast to play, but it's lacking in overall substance. Ultimately, it's a fun distraction at a low price tag. Okay, so next we have Rush, a wingsuit flying game. Personally, I just thought this game would be more exciting. I was looking for that adrenaline rush, something that games like Richie's Plank Experience and The Climb are able to induce, but Rush just didn't do it for me. That being said though, it is still a cool racing game, and I know plenty of people who enjoy this title. Speaking of enjoying a title, next up we have Aspire 1, which was much lower on my list last year. The original buggy release of this title left me absolutely disappointed. The game also failed to deliver on that Metal Gear Solid in VR promise, but the game has come a long way since release, and it's a fun way to scratch that stealth game itch. Now if you're not interested in stealth, we have the arena fighter Ninja Legends. Ninja Legends is an arcadey wave fighting game with a nice variety in weapons, locations, boss fights, and it even includes some cool power-ups. There's not a lot of overall depth to this game, but it is a fun experience. They've also added a bow gameplay mode since the title's original release. Now if you're interested in something with an old school feel, we have Space Blockbuster. This game is very similar to the classic title Brick Breaker, but now you are physically inside the game and swinging those paddles. If you're looking for casual titles, Space Blockbuster is an absolute blast to play. Not only does VR put a new age spin on a classic title, the game also features tons of power-ups, boss fights, and new items that you can unlock over time. So while we're talking about casual titles, we have to mention O-Shape. If you're looking for a quirky, rhythm-based alternative to Beat Saber, then you gotta check out O-Shape. Rather than swinging lightsabers, you're contorting your body to fit through specific shapes. This is a lot more fun to watch as a spectator, and it's a really fun party game. Now, if solo's more your style, and you're looking for an adventure puzzle game, we have Doctor Who: The Edge of Time. You'll journey through an apocalyptic adventure, which can be quite spooky at times. And for Doctor Who fans, this title was either a nerdgasm or a complete disappointment. The environments and storytelling were quite cool, but the puzzles were a bit lacking. Now, a similar puzzle title was Prose Enlightenment. This game also has a dark theme, but it absolutely does not hold your hand, delivering some extremely challenging puzzles. I was also pretty intrigued by the overall storyline. So if you're looking for dark storytelling and difficult puzzles, check out Prose Enlightenment. Okay, so next up is Raw Data. Raw Data was one of VR's first attempts to deliver a full game. It has a fully narrated storyline, they've built a dystopian future world, there's multiple player characters that you can level up, and the game even includes some multiplayer modes. But at its core, this is still just a wave shooter. It's definitely a fun experience, but a bit overpriced for what you get. Okay, so next up we have another arena fighting game. Swords of Gargantua features a very cool intro storyline, some great fighting mechanics, some advanced physics systems, and even online multiplayer combat. You'll unlock new weapons over time, and the game features some truly unique enemies. The only issue is it gets overly repetitive. You're also unlikely to find people online playing in the co-op mode anymore. Now our next title is probably the only tower defense game on the list, and that's Ginny and Thaco. Ginny and Thaco takes full advantage of VR controls, allowing you to pound enemies into submission. There's also gesture-based spells and the typical resource management you would find in another tower defense title. The game also features multiple Monty Python-style cutscenes. So if you like tower defense games and enjoy that type of humor, this one is right up your alley. So our next title comes from a genre that is equally underrepresented, and that is the RTS Final Assault. Final Assault has you controlling an army of cartoon soldiers in a one-on-one battle. This game features both single-player and multiplayer, and if you played with little army toys as a kid, this feels like a dream come true. It's really exciting to be in the middle of a toy war zone. Now if you are looking for something darker and more realistic, we have Hinge Episode 1. Graphically, this game is stunning, and it's equally as creepy. The game had a rough launch with some serious performance issues, but has been patched since then, and there is a demo available if you want to check it out, and I found every aspect of this game, including the creatures, the storyline, and the non-Euclidean geometry, extremely intriguing. If you're a horror fan, put this game on your list. But if you're not a fan and you're looking for something completely different, check out Starship Commander Arcade. Now this project was originally intended to be much bigger, but due to budget issues, we only got a short 15-minute experience. That's okay though, because there is some high replayability here, and this is a truly unique experience because it's the only title completely controlled by your voice. You make storyline decisions by verbally answering questions, you can kill some time by trying to flirt with the in-game NPC, or you could just sit back and enjoy those stunning graphics. The game also comes with a 90-minute documentary which details the development of this title, and it's really interesting if you're into game design. So our next title is another unique one, and if you ever wanted to be part of a Japanese anime, Alt Deus has you covered. Alt Deus Beyond Chronos is a really trippy, multi-hour, interactive storyline. You could replay it to unlock new scenes, and overall it was just really intriguing. Mechanically though, the game is very simplistic. You will be listening to a lot of dialogue, then picking the response of your choice, and battle scenes come down to just touching a few indicators on your screen. Even with that simplicity, I was still compelled to complete this game as fast as possible. Now, if an interactive storyline isn't fast enough for you, we have Airborne. Airborne is a high-flying shooter with some amazing mechanics. You'll be flying through the world at extreme speeds, all while taking out an array of enemy drones. By some miracle, this game does not induce any motion sickness at all, and once you get a hang of those flying mechanics, it just feels so good. There is a leveling system with unlockables, but overall, I just wish this game had a little bit more to it. It's a good, low-price time killer with some unique mechanics. Now, if you wanted to keep up the speed but stay a bit more grounded, we have Stride. Stride is commonly referred to as Mirror's Edge in VR, and it lives up to that name. You'll parkour from rooftop to rooftop, occasionally taking out some enemies. Once you get a hang of the mechanics, this game feels so smooth, and there's multiple different gameplay modes to keep you entertained. Please note, Stride is still in development. Okay, so we're gonna return back to arena fighting games with Iron Lights. Iron Lights sets itself apart by having unique graphics and mechanics. Rather than trying to emulate real-life physics, they've simply developed their own system where weapons shatter on contact. It might not be realistic, but it is fun. The game has a large array of unique weapons that all function completely different. There's a stamina mechanic that will truly impact your overall strategy, and as an added bonus, you'll still find people playing this online. Again though, like most other arena fighting games, this title does get quite repetitive. So to change things up, we have the action horror title Lies Beneath. The game features excellent cel-shaded comic book style graphics, it has some really creepy undertones, and it's fun taking out an array of different creatures. It's definitely less scary than games like Dead Space, but I would put it in that same action horror genre. But I know horror is not for everyone, so let's check out the lighthearted puzzle game Time Stall. Time Stall has you on a robot-operated luxury spaceship. After a system-wide malfunction, that robot staff is now hostile. So after something goes extremely wrong, you have the ability to reverse and then stall time. You can physically interact with some objects that'll hopefully save the day when time starts moving again. It's definitely a cute title if you're into puzzle games. Now the next game might surprise some people by being this low on the list, but that's Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge. It's a fun experience, features some great graphics on the Oculus Quest, has an incredible side mission where you get to meet Yoda, but the majority of the game is a bland shooter. I'm hoping the second half of this game when it releases will help improve the overall title. Now our next title is very similar when it comes to bland combat, and that's Warhammer 40k Battle Sister. Don't get me wrong, it's a fun game. The combat is brutal, and I was compelled to complete this title. The main problem is the Warhammer franchise deserves much more. As a huge Warhammer fan, I just couldn't help but be disappointed. There were no physics in the melee combat, the graphics do not look good on the Oculus Quest, and the storyline was extremely predictable. It's a cool, mindless shooter, but it should have been so much more. And just for a bit more deja vu, guys, we have Doom VFR. The recent Doom remakes have absolutely blown our mind, and we wanted that in VR. Unfortunately though, we got a game that just doesn't run at the same pace. Now this title has moved up on the list since last year, mainly because at launch this game was a nightmare. The game released with nearly 2 full pages of known bugs, and I think I experienced every single one of them. Now it has been patched and it is a cool experience, it's just not that Doom you know and love. So obviously the next game that should be right next to Doom VFR is Real Fishing VR. I know that sentence sounds absolutely crazy, but this is just a fun, chill experience. I have absolutely no interest in fishing in real life, but if I'm bored and had a rough day, it's just this odd, serene escape. It's also great during these socially distanced days. Invite a friend, hang out, and catch some fish. They just need to add some virtual beers. Now if you're looking for an off-planet escape, you should check out Jupiter Grad. Jupiter Grad is a grappling hook platformer with a great sense of humor. So you'll grapple your way through an array of deadly traps as you attempt to repair the Jupiter Grad station. The grappling hook mechanics are excellent, and this is a really fun title. Speaking of really fun titles, we have Solaris Off-World Combat. Now I absolutely love this game, but I'm scared that by next year it may end up on that list of dead multiplayer titles. It's an excellent arena shooter, but it launched without enough content and the player base has dwindled. Now the developers have been pushing out updates, but it may be too little too late because Solaris has some major competition coming in the near future. Now there's another online shooter in a similar boat, and that's Tower Tag. Tower Tag is absolutely excellent and features some truly strategic combat, but the overall player base is quite small, and it's being kept alive by league-style competitions. Hopefully they will eventually release a Quest version that will help the overall player base. Now an online game where you don't have to worry about the player base is PokerStars VR. This game is surprisingly good for that low price of free. It's extremely social, and it's a great way to experience the poker table, all from the comfort of your own home. This game continually has updates, they recently added blackjack, and there was even a mode where you can bet on the Super Bowl. This game is just a no-brainer if you're a poker fan. Okay, so our next title has actually dropped down on my list, and that's Vanishing Realms. While this title does hold a special place in my heart, and it's one of very few VR RPGs, as an older title, it just doesn't completely stand up to today's standards. The RPG elements are quite light. It's not a very long title. The combat, while fun, lags behind newer titles, and there's just a better game that I would recommend over this coming up later on the list. Now our next title is a much more recent one, and that's Tarzan VR. Tarzan features surprisingly beautiful graphics, really fun swinging mechanics and combat, and if you're looking for a title where the in-game mechanics help immerse you into this world, Tarzan is a great experience. Just don't go in expecting anything too serious. The only thing really holding it back is the amount of content you get for the price tag. Speaking of not a ton of content, we have Blast On. This is a one-on-one multiplayer dueling shooter with some truly unique mechanics. Your selected arsenal will randomly spawn around you. You'll have to grab a weapon and try to take down your opponent, but it gets much more strategic than that, as weapons have different firing speed, clip sizes, and different trajectories. As you continue to play, you'll unlock new weapons and develop your own personal strategies. This is also a very active game where you need to continually dodge the enemy's bullets. It's a lot of fun, and the online player base is still active. Okay, so let's jump back to some arena fighting games, and we actually have two that score around the same for me. The first one is Gorn, and the second one is Hellsplit Arena. Ultimately, it comes down to preference. Gorn is this comical, very cartoony, slapstick physics game, where Hellsplit is the exact opposite. It has some amazing dark and gritty graphics, and it aims for realism with its physics-based combat. So if you want your arena fighter to be silly, go with Gorn. If you want more realism or a creepier theme, go with Hellsplit Arena. Both of them feature some insanely brutal combat though. Okay guys, we are breaking into the games that score between 8.0 and 8.9. These are excellent games that have some or all of the following attributes. They're a great representation of their genre. They're an amazing value. They have a ton of replayability. They're just undeniably fun or completely addictive. So the first game in this list is Arizona Sunshine. Arizona Sunshine is one of the few games to feature a full single-player co-op campaign. They've added multiple DLCs over the years, and the Horde mode delivers hours of non-stop fun. But shooters aren't for everyone, and that's why we have rhythm games like Synth Riders. If you like rhythm games, but Beat Saber isn't quite your style, the mechanics of Synth Riders get you naturally dancing to the songs. It's a really fun experience, and their latest DLC package, which includes the Algorithm Virtual Experience, is absolutely fantastic. Now if you're looking for something like Mario Kart in VR, there's Dash Dash World. Dash Dash World features a huge single-player campaign. There's an excessive amount of unlockables, including a custom Mateo 311 cockpit and horn.
Sorry about that. Okay, hopefully the sound is okay now. Did you guys manage to hear everything, or do I have to repeat everything again? Oh man, I hope... I'm just taking a pause to read your comments. Were you guys able to hear the background, or did I have to redo? Let me just play my phone. Oh no, you can hear me. Are you kidding? Oh no. All right, well, we're live, so you know these things happen. Never mind. You know, what can I tell you? Very sorry about that. I thought I had clicked stop for the video, but obviously I hadn't, so my apologies. Let me just backtrack a little bit in that case. All right. All right, wow, that's 20 minutes worth of data, worth of stream. I'm so sorry, guys. We're live. What can I tell you? Let me just do a quick giveaway, just to redeem myself. Here's a key to Synth Riders, guys. So good luck to you. You know, whoever gets the key first. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So Synth Riders key for Steam. All right, there you go. Any issues with the key, please let me know. Also, you know, so I can make sure I go back to the developers if, you know, there's any issues with them. Let me know about that. So very sorry about the first 20 minutes. What can I tell you? You know, we're live and obviously the video is still working. So in the background, you couldn't hear me. All right. Never mind. So let's just do this again. Doesn't matter. So we're talking about the HP Omnicept today. Very excited about it. So let's go back to the article. I was saying that a lot of people were obviously talking about, you know, about it. A lot of news about it. A lot of hype. So. What I'm going to do, guys, just to do a fresh, I think what I'm going to do for the purpose of the stream is I'm just going to stop this stream and I'm going to start a new stream from scratch. So, or maybe I should just put some live stamps. Oh man, I don't know. I'll just continue this stream. Never mind. It doesn't matter. Sorry, it hasn't really happened before. Oh God, I feel so embarrassed. All right. So. Let me just go back here. All right, we're on this tab. Okay, all good, nice. All right, there we go. All right, okay. I'll put some timestamps below. You know, for the stream. Never mind. So yeah, we'll just use timestamps, and then people later will just, you know, get it. All right, so. A lot of hype about HP Omnicept. We're back after 20 minutes of sorry about that again. So a lot of hype. So a lot of papers have been talking about the HP Omnicept, obviously. So we got Upload VR who are talking about it. We have VR Scout who've been talking about it. VR Focus, as well as Tech Radar. And basically what's really exciting about this new headset is that it's going to incorporate a lot of new sensors inside of it. So if we go to Upload VR's, you know, article, we just start reading from the top. So the G2 Omnicept edition takes the existing headset and adds sensors to track pupil size. Now that is something that to me is really, really amazing. Pupil size, just trying to go into my phone. Okay, so it sounds good. All right. Okay, we're back. So we were talking about pupil size in terms of a tracker that can track your size of the pupil. I mean, that is to me amazing, because basically that means that it knows when your iris will be big and small. Is that what it means? That it can track your iris? I mean, that is pretty amazing. I don't know what that's going to be used for. I guess the iris size gives a lot of data, and this is something we'll talk about in video in this live stream today as well. In terms of, you know, data privacy, because the iris can give a lot of information about our body and what it does and all these kind of things. So I'm not quite sure why people need to track the size of our iris, of our pupil. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. It's pretty amazing. I'll say that. And also the eye movement. So obviously for the eye movement, now that's pretty cool, because I was trying to explain earlier that basically when you're, you know, when you're looking at an object that's very close, so for example, this glass, then obviously everything in the back will be, you know, will be blurred. And then, you know, when you're looking at the background, then obviously anything that's in the front. So I don't know if I can do it with this. You know, then the glass will be blurred if you're looking at the back. And then if you're looking at the glass, then the glass will be clear, but then everything at the back will be, you know, will be blurry. So apparently this is supposed to help with computation in terms of you know, the how the headset is actually going to handle the graphics. So this basically means that we'll be able, or HP, VR hardware manufacturers will be able to develop faster, you know, graphics, better graphics, more hyper-realistic graphics, I guess, so that the headset can focus, you know, more on what you're looking at, as opposed to focus on everything in the actual headset, because there's a lot of issues with different VR headsets as well with the actual lens. You know, there's a lot of blurriness around the lenses, which causes some issues, but that's also because of how the actual lenses are designed and the actual form of the lens. So, you know, but this is apparently going to help that. So that should be quite good and very interesting to, you know, see in terms of its development. So let's just continue reading here. So last year, the company also said the eye tracking could also be used could also be used to enable foveated rendering, which is basically what we were just talking about, that only fully renders the area of the VR display the user is looking at. So that's exactly what we were just talking about just now. So now what's also interesting is apparently HP is announcing an additional update to the Omnicept edition, which is support for facial audio to its Omnicept SDK. This uses head-related transfer functions, a technique for delivering sound at pinpoint locations to provide more immersive VR audio. So that's going to be very interesting, because currently spatial audio is done manually. So what that means is that developers have to place specific points inside of the VR apps to give the effect that you're looking to get. So the spatial audio is not live. It's not something that's done like walking from a room to another room, and then it thinks for you in telling you, oh, now we're in a cave, so that means there should be a lot of echo, so let me, you know, put the echo on. Or we're walking into a small tiny room, so obviously there's no echo, you know, the sound is very dry, so it will change this automatically for you. No, this is all pre-done by, you know, the VR developer, and then they'll place all the various different you know, modules inside of the VR app for us to experience what it is that they want us to experience. So it seems that the Omnicept will work a little bit differently. Perhaps it will be a bit more intelligent in terms of knowing when the spatial audio will change, and it will be able to obviously record our emotions, for example, the pupil size, our heartbeat as well. We're coming to that, you know, as to our experience within that environment. So it's going to be very interesting to see how developers are going to implement this for the HP. And also, I'd like to know from developers, if you're a developer, please leave a comment below, you know, whether it's going to be easy to adapt these kind of new things to specifically an HP VR headset versus you know, versus other VR headsets, because there's so many different VR headsets. Developers have to adapt the code to every single VR headset, which is not easy. So does this mean it's going to, you know, provide more work for them to do, or whether they can just adapt it very easily on the fly and then, you know, just click certain things on and off, you know, and not really, you know, create too much work for, you know, for them. So that's also something that, you know, will be very interesting to see. All right, I'm just trying to read your comments. By the way, hi, little Aussie Vape Shop. Nice to, thanks for coming to the channel. Derek Zamrick, thank you very much for coming to the channel as well. Yellow Mellow, thanks for being there. And then everyone else who's watching but not chatting, hi to you as well. I'm just going to update my tweet very quickly to let people know that if they're coming to, please skip, if you can, to 20 minutes, as I had audio issues. Thanks. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm just updating the Twitter feed. Obviously, do join our Twitter, by the way. We're VR Essentials 1. For those who are interested to, you know, for those who are interested to, you know, get to know our news. So our Twitter is VR Essentials 1 is our Twitter. Okay, there we go. medical drugs. What are you talking about? Oh, what if someone's on drugs? Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see. I think also I was talking about something earlier when the sound was on and you couldn't hear. Oh, yes. Okay, let's just go through the article first very quickly, and then we'll talk about something else I think is interesting. So the price is going to be $1,249 US, not $1,250. You know, very important psychological barrier here. It is not in the 1250s. It is in the 1249s. And of course, the HP Reverb G2 at the moment is $600 US now. Excuse me. Trapped air. Now, what I think is very interesting in terms of the price is whether, you know, HP just released the HP Reverb G2, right, a few months ago. With the VR headset. Now, the Omnicept's coming out 3 months later. Now, what I want to know is, now, obviously what we know is that HTC just released a facial tracker accessory, and they're going to be releasing, you know, a standalone VR headset this year. Now, does this mean that HTC will have the facial tracking technology inside of the next VR headset? We don't know. Pico Neo 3 are releasing a new VR headset this year. Does it have any tracking technology inside? We don't know, because Pico have not released any details. Now, the Neo 3 is not meant for the Western market. It's meant for the Asian market, and it's also meant for enterprise, not for, you know, obviously for mass market. However, next year, what we know is Oculus are going to release, Facebook, sorry, are going to release a new headset, whatever it will be called, we don't know. Will it include facial tracking technologies? We don't know. We know they're going to be releasing a pro version of the Oculus Quest. So what will it include inside? We don't know. We also know, of course, that Apple will be releasing their own VR headset. Will it have tracking technology inside? We're not quite sure, but what we do know is that next year there will be plenty of new VR headsets coming out. We also know that Valve will be releasing a new headset, the new standalone wireless headset. When, we don't know, but we know it's going to be pretty soon. I mean, they've been, you know, inching away with, they've been, you know, teasing us with their photos of their trademark photos they've been releasing. So what we know is that next year there are going to be more headsets. Now, what this means is that HP obviously are going to want to remain competitive. So does this, and we also know now, we don't know, let's say, like they haven't told me, but we can assume that next year they'll also be releasing a new headset, perhaps. You know, we know they're working on a G3. I mean, it might not be called the G3, but we know that they're releasing, you know, we know that they're working on a new headset. Full stop, right? Because every single VR hardware manufacturer is working on a new VR headset, right? So we know they're working on whatever it will be called. For the purpose of today's video, we'll call it a G3. What technology is it going to have? Is it going to have this new, is the Omnicept technology inside of it the new norm in VR? Is HTC's new facial tracking technology and Omnicept's tracking technology the new norm in VR? Is this what we're expected to see in future VR headsets 1 year from now? And does this mean that HP, when they release their new headsets a year from now, will also include the Omnicept technology? In which case, this begs the question, which is, if the Omnicept is going to cost $1,249 US today, will the G3 consumer VR headset, which would include some of the technologies from the Omnicept, cost $600 US, which basically means, will the Omnicept technology be halved a year from now, which basically means, should people buy the Omnicept today or wait a year from now until the technology costs 50%, 100% less? That's basically what I would like to know, HP. You know, is it too soon to buy the HP Omnicept technology, or should companies wait a year from now and buy it at a cheaper price with more technology, better technology? That's also something I'd like to know, because if this is going to be, you know, the norm in the world of VR, then we can only assume that the next HP G3 headset will not cost $1,249 US. It will obviously cost less than $1,000 US. So this is what's going to be very interesting about the technology for the HP basically is what I think. Hi Victor Rosa, how are you doing? Thank you for joining today's stream. Are you excited about the new Omnicept technology for the HP? If you're watching live and you can skip, please skip to 20 or 25 minutes as we had audio issues. Okay, for those who are new to the channel. So I think that's really what's very interesting in terms of the technology for the new Omnicept, because if this is the new norm in VR, and they're releasing this year, and next year there's so many new VR headsets coming onto the market, and they're going to have to release a new VR headset, then does this mean that the HP Omnicept technology will be implemented in the future G3? And does it mean that in that case, the Omnicept technology is going to be reduced by 50% next year? That's what I think is quite interesting in terms of the strategy that HP are, employing here. Is that what is going to be happening or not? So who knows? We're going to have to wait next year, I guess, in terms of what's going to happen. Now, also the article says that HP will be asking a 2% revenue share from any profit made from the SDK that will be used by developers depending on the SDK that they'll be using. So if you go to the HP website here, let me just check that we're indeed on here. Yeah, we are. So all good. So they have different things that are going to be happening here. So the software price for developers who want to use this new SDK will be free. It will include, the free version will include these kind of different things. So they're also going to have different pricing tiers. So 2% revenue share for educational use. So anyone who wants to use this new technology inside of the HP Omnicept and who want to implement the pulse rate variability API. So basically this means that this technology will be able to track our heart rate, right? It's that simple, or our pulse, right? So if anyone wants to use it for educational purposes, then they will have to pay, a 2% share, 2% revenue share. I'm a bit confused in terms of revenue share of what? Of the game they're going to sell? Is that what it means? It would be great to get some clarity on this. 2% revenue share from any profit made from its use. Any profits meaning what? So if I'm a developer, I'm a company, let's say I want to use the HP Reverb G2 Omnicept technology, and I want to sell an app which is for the purpose of educating people how to use, let's say, how to build a car. That's educational, right? Or how to teach English or Japanese or Chinese or whatever it might be as a software. Does that mean I have to give 2% of that back to HP? I think HP perhaps could provide a little bit more clarity on this, because I'm a bit confused as to what the 2% profit share really means. I suspect that's what it means, but then again, why would I want to give 2% of my business or 2% of my product to anyone? I don't know. Personally speaking, and also does it mean, okay, so it's 2% revenue, so it's not gross. Revenue basically means, after any expenses, and so basically the profit, not the, no, revenue is not profit. So So does this mean the gross revenue? So if I sell my product at $20 or $10, sorry, does that mean I have to give them back $2? Sorry, $2 would be 20%. 20 cents of that product price. That's a lot of money. So I think HP could provide a little bit more clarity here in terms of what does it mean? What revenue share? Revenue share of what? Of the app? Of the company? Of the what exactly? I think it would be great if HP here could perhaps use a little bit of communication to, maybe it's written somewhere in the little small prints in the disclaimer, but then it will be quite hard to read more. Let me see if I can find some information here. 2%. It doesn't actually say. It doesn't detail the 2% of what. So I think this would be very interesting to know whether is HP going to be charging 2% of the company, of the product, 2% of what? That would be great to know. Hi Gorilla, how you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for popping by to the channel. I've been thinking of getting the HP VR for my flight sim. The picture quality is the same as HP Reverb HP G2, correct? So we're gonna go into this. Yes, it seems that the details in terms of the graphics. So now we can talk about the graphics. It seems that the details of the actual graphics for the Omnicept are not there's no details of anything being better in terms of graphics. So basically there's three products, right? There's HP Reverb G2 Professional, if I'm not wrong. There's the HP Reverb G2, the normal one, and also the HP Reverb G2 Omnicept. So the Omnicept, to my knowledge so far, if I go to another article by VR Scout, it will be the same details. So 4K per eye, basically, is what we're looking at. And then the IPD, all this kind of stuff is going to be, the same as well. So HP Reverb G2 specs. We're going to do another giveaway for another key. Let me just put given away. So we're going to give away another key, guys, for Synth Riders. This is a Steam key, by the way, just to let you know. So let me go here. So in let me just change this. Here we go. So we're going to do another key giveaway for Steam for Synth Riders. If it doesn't work, let me know. Any issues with the keys, please get back to me, and then I can, make the amendments. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here you go, guys. There's another key giveaway. Any issues, as I said, please let me know. And thanks to the guys from Synth Riders for providing us the keys to do a giveaway. We're going to do plenty of key giveaways today, so no worries about that. We're going to give away another 3 or 4 keys of different apps, not only Synth Riders, just to let you know. Okay, so let me just go back to where we were, to the VR Scout article. So here we go. Let me just change this. Okay. So HP Reverb G2 specs. So we have 4K per eye, right, as standard, 90 Hertz refresh rate. So I don't think the Omnicept is going to provide more refresh rate. Perhaps it can with a software update in the future. Who knows? I don't really know if it's hardware bound or if it's software bound, because they never said that HP could actually provide more bandwidth in terms of refresh rate for its display, right? It works very differently to standalone VR headset, which with the XR2 chip, you know, can provide a little bit more bandwidth. With the HP, it doesn't have a chip inside of it to control all this, but you know, perhaps it could use the, you know, graphics card, or I mean the GPU, to be able to expand things. Who knows? I'm not quite sure how it's made inside specifically. I could ask HP this and see whether they could actually provide the opportunity to expand more refresh rate in the future. Who knows? It's possible. I don't know, or whether, you know, it's bound, it's set, and it's not something that they can really, you know, really work on. We know it's OLED and LCD, so I think the technology inside, you know, in terms of the actual Omnicept itself, is going to be the same. It will also have most probably full cameras for the eye tracking. I would imagine, it looks to me, judging by the pictures, let me just go back here. Judging by the pictures, the speakers will also be Valve developed, so it'll be the same speakers. And also, I think the controllers are going to be the same controllers as the current controllers. It doesn't look like, you know, I mean, judging by the pictures, there haven't been new pictures released, you know. And also, if we just go here, and then let me just kill the sound. You know, if we look at the actual trailer that they had released previously, then, you know, it looks exactly as the HP Reverb G2, to be honest. So, other than the additional, of course, if I just pause the video very quickly. So this, okay, this here, this is basically, so they have the facial expression, you know, tracker that seems to be on the actual headset, and also the heart rate tracker. It seems to be that it's going to be on the part where you put your head inside, so on the forehead, it looks like. So they have extra sensors on the actual headset itself, and I think that's basically it. But I think for the rest of it, and obviously they'll have sensors perhaps in the actual lenses to be able to scan your, you know, your, oh, it seems that the actual adjustments to the headset itself will also have a knob instead of the Velcro on the side, maybe. And then also, yeah, so the resolution, you know, on the trailer says that it's 4K per eye, so we can confirm that. And most probably the rest will be, you know, will be the same. So I think in terms of the graphics and all this kind of stuff, it's going to be, you know, more or less the same. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Derek. They should definitely do that. Hey, Arjan, how you doing? Thank you very much for popping to the channel as well. Nice to meet you. I mean a license fee. Oh, okay. 2% license fee, but okay, we'll come back to this in just a minute. He's talking about the revenue share in terms of 2%. So we're just talking at the moment in terms of the specs for the actual Omnicept itself. So it will be the same. Let me just get my HP Reverb G2 for a minute. Okay. So we just changed cameras just for a second. There we go. Here we are. So we have the HP cables. Okay, there we go. So this is the HP, right? This is the G2 here. Okay. All right, focused on it. So let me just, can I change the focus? And no, I can't. Okay. So the HP, so the Omnicept will look the same, right? You'll have the cameras. So the two cameras here, and then also the cameras on the side. here, right? And then you'll have the same speakers, but it looks as if, and then, sorry, one of the sensors, it seems, will be below it, which will be maybe here or here, who knows, somewhere. And it looks like the next sensor, which is the sensor, the heart, it looks like that the other sensor will be here. That's what it looks like anyway. And for the adjustment here, according to the trailer, it's going to have very similar to the Pico Neo 2, which is this here. So that's basically what it looks like in terms of what we're looking at, really. If I was to, you know, this sensor here clearly looks like clearly it looks like it's here on this part, somewhere here. So that's what it looks like. And then this sensor here, this one here, for the facial expressions, appears that it will be underneath, under the headset. But it could be on top. Who knows? Who knows? It doesn't look very clear, but to me it looks like it's underneath. You know, it looks like it's underneath here, as far as I'm concerned. And then for the rest, the IPD adjustment, all this kind of stuff, I guess it's going to be the same VR headset. It's very possible, though, that they may have taken some of the feedback from, you know, current HP Reverb G2 users to modify, to change slightly the design of the Omnicept. That is also very, very possible. So, you know, controllers could be different. Who knows? Maybe the controllers will be different. But, you know, honestly speaking, I completely agree with you, Derek, that the controllers is something that they definitely need to change in the next consumer VR headset, you know, for sure. And then the other thing that I think is going to be very interesting in terms of the development of the HP Reverb G2 as well is, you know, guys, let's not forget the Omnicept is not a standalone VR headset. Okay, it is not. I repeat, it is not a standalone VR headset. It is not a standalone VR headset. It's not. It has a cable. It's tethered. Now, what I think is very interesting. Now, I think it's great. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fantastic that HP are releasing a VR headset that has all this cool new technology, and we will talk about this in just a minute. But it's not standalone. Next year, Apple are releasing a standalone VR headset, guys. Apple. I mean, love them or hate them, it doesn't matter. I personally like Apple. All right, I got nothing against them. Sorry. And I think it's very exciting that Apple are coming out with a headset. It's going to be wireless. It's going to be a standalone. Valve are developing a standalone VR headset, guys. Valve are developing a standalone VR headset, all right? Pico. Standalone. Pico Neo 3 coming out this next month in China. Standalone. HTC Focus. Standalone. The next HTC Vive coming out this year. Standalone. The next Oculus. Facebook are releasing a next Oculus Quest Pro or Oculus Quest 3, whatever it will be called, next year. Standalone. Let me repeat. Apple, HTC have two standalones, right? So you got Apple, got HTC, got Valve, and then we have Oculus That's 5, right? Plus, let's say there'll be one more for the bonus round. Let's say Samsung come out with their whatever they're supposed to come out with, right? Then there's the Manova one, Manova, but Manova is not really, you know, competition at this moment in time. So we'll just disregard that headset completely for the moment. So we have 5 headsets plus 1 joker. Let's say 1 bonus one coming out next year. We have potentially 6 standalone VR headsets which will be out within the next 12 months. 6 standalone VR headsets. Now, HP, we can assume, they haven't told me, but we can assume they are working on a standalone VR headset too, right? So if they're going to come out with a standalone in 2023, so let's say that will be 7 standalone VR headsets next year, does this mean that the Omnicept technology will be inside of the next VR headset? If they're going to release a new headset next year, is it going to be PC VR? Are they going to focus on the PC VR market, or are they going to focus on the wireless market? Because as we all know, guys, unfortunately for PC VR, well, this is what's happening, right? We have PC VR coming down and we have standalone, you know, coming up, right? So that's basically what's happening. So is there still a market for PC VR, guys? Starting off, let's say next year and onwards, 2023. Let's just push it to 2023 onwards. Is there going to be, you know, a market for PC VR? Is the Omnicept something they're going to keep doing for PC VR, or is it something that, you know, eventually the technology is going to cross over from the Omnicept PC VR version to the standalone HP VR headset? And again, it poses the question that I asked earlier, which is, you know, does this mean that the Omnicept technology, which is going to cost $1,249 today, going to cost $600 in a standalone VR headset tomorrow, in a year from now, guys? What is the HP strategy? I don't know. Does this mean that people, you know, should purchase the, you know, the Omnicept today, or should they wait a year? What do you guys think? I think it's an interesting question to ask, and I think HP perhaps could provide some details to that. I'm not quite sure, because if the technology is going to cost $249 today in a tethered headset for PC VR, and they're going to come out with a Reverb G3 standalone next year with Omnicept technology in it for $600, then why buy the Omnicept today? You know, that's the question I would like to ask HP. But hi Bert, how you doing? Thank you for joining the channel. I understand what you're saying, but at the end of the day, the technology, do we need GPU to track facial expressions? No, we don't. Because HTC, let's not forget, let me just bring up HTC Facial Tracker. HTC, right? Size large. Okay, here we go. All right. Oh. Why are the pictures so small? All right, there we go. We have a big picture here. So let me just change this. So you're saying that the technology depends on the GPU. I get it. I understand what you mean. But at the end of the day, for facial tracking, you don't need a GPU. This tracker that HTC have come out with is compatible with all VR headsets, all standalone VR headsets. I wish HTC will send us one of the trackers so I could test it with the Pico Neo 2, for example. But we know it's compatible with Oculus and the HP Reverb G2 and, you know, a whole bunch of other VR headsets. So this does not need GPU. For the Pulse thing, I don't think this needs GPU. I don't think any of the new technology that they're implementing needs a GPU to run it, because other than, of course, perhaps if the app is developed for the GPU, yes, you're right. For example, we were just talking about just now, which was the spatial audio support. Now, if the spatial audio support, the SDK that they're going to be using is only compatible with a PC version, you're definitely right. Of course, you will need a PC to run this technology, and also the eye tracking for the foveated rendering. If this is only compatible with the PC version of the game, because the SDK is not compatible with a wireless version, for sure, it's only limited to, as you're right, the GPU. But at the end of the day, if HP can make their SDK compatible with, a wireless standalone VR headset, which I don't see why it would be that hard, to be honest with you. I don't see why it wouldn't be. Then again, the question that I'm asking myself is, if this $1,249 technology inside of the new Omnicept headset is going to be implemented in their next G3 standalone wireless VR headset. We're speculating here, guys. No confirmation of a standalone or a G3, but I'm just saying that if next year they will have to come out with a new VR headset, because there are 6 other companies coming out with a brand new standalone VR headset, and potentially 2 or 3 other brands coming out with their own tethered PC VR headset, then if HP going to come out with a new headset, they're going to have to implement some of their Omnicept technology inside of it, and also price it at less than $1,000, which means, why would I want to buy an Omnicept today at $1,249 when I could wait a year, have a better VR headset, and also incorporate the Omnicept VR technology at 50% of the price? That's basically what I'm asking myself right now, right here today. That's all I'm saying. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see the development of whether this is the new norm in VR. Is facial tracking technology the new norm in VR? Is this what we're now expected to have as a consumer in future VR headsets? Yes or no? I don't know, but it seems that, obviously we're kind of heading, in that direction, I guess. Hey, Bert. So going back to the license fee, so Arshan was saying, I mean a license fee. So we were talking about the 2% fee that HP are going to be charging. Basically, they're charging a 2% revenue share on any profit. But again, I get it that it's a license fee, yes. So the company pays 2% of... But 2% of what? Again, I was trying to ask earlier on, which was, if I create a VR app for educational purpose, so let's say that I create Learn English or Learn Chinese or Learn French or whatever it is, right? And I sell this app for $10. Does that mean that I owe HP 20 cents of every single app that I sell? Is that what it means? I don't know. So it'd be great to get a little bit more, because I don't feel comfortable doing that. If I make $1 million, I don't want to give HP 2% of my revenue share. I'm sorry, but why should I do that? And not just HP, anyone. Why would I want to give 2% revenue share of any profit that I make from any products that I sell? I'm very sorry, HP, but I simply would not want to do that. I would much be more comfortable in paying you $1,000 a month or $12,000 for the whole year, and that's it. Just here you go. Why should I give you 2% based on how much money I make? If that is what it means, if that is what it means, I mean, this to me is, here is the 2% revenue share. Is this what it means? I have to give you 2% of whatever money I make. It would be great to get some clarification, I think, by HP to, as to details, because I think some companies may not be very comfortable doing that, to give them 2% based on how much they make. I'm not sure they'll be comfortable doing that. So it'd be great to, I had the wrong window open just now, so let me just go back to the window. Okay, here we go. So yeah, so the 2% is here. is this what it means? Do I have to give you 2% of any money I make, of any apps that I develop, or 2% of what exactly? Because I don't know, 2% of my business, not sure I'm very comfortable to do that, to be honest. So that's going to be very interesting to see how developers will, react to that, and companies react to that, to be honest. So yeah. All right, let me just do another key giveaway very quickly. Let me just change the window. Okay, let me get an app. So we gave away 2 keys of Synth Riders. Let's see what we can give you guys. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, grapple is given away already. Okay, let's do some Carnage Chronicle. So I'm gonna do a giveaway key for Carnage Chronicle. Guys, any issues with the keys, please let me know so I can get a new key for you from the developers. Okay, so let's do a Steam key giveaway, Carnage Chronicle. All right, bam bam, let me get it. So Steam key giveaway of Carnage Chronicle. And thanks to the guys from Carnage Chronicle for giving us keys so we can give them back to you. So good luck to you guys. Any issues with the keys, please let me know, as I mentioned before, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here you go. And any issues with the keys, please let us know, and we'll give you a new key, or we'll go back to the developers to get a new key. All right, so do try it out. And our email address is this one .io in case you need to get hold of us. And also do subscribe to our what do you call it, Twitter, because if you have Twitter, we're on Twitter. We all our news, we're quite active on Twitter, so do join us on Twitter as well. And remember to enable your notifications on YouTube, so YouTube can tell you when I upload a video in your actual video feed. All right, so so we covered quite a lot today in terms of what's going on with HP. What else you want me to talk about in terms of HP? And we talked about how this is exciting. Price $1,249 US. However, there is a 2% share if people want to use it, a revenue share that companies have to give back to them if they want to use it for educational purpose or for cognitive load, new features, whatever. There's a 2% revenue share. So does this mean that companies have to give away 2% of the company, of the product, if they implement the SDK? This is something I think HP need to very seriously address, because I don't know companies who will be very comfortable doing this. Perhaps there will be some. The other thing that we also covered today is, of course, about the actual lenses and all this kind of stuff. We know that from the trailer, it will be 4K per eye. Perhaps they will, change some of the things, of course, because since the actual release of the HP Reverb G2, it's very possible that they, as I mentioned, change some of the things in the Omnicept so that they can actually make the headset better, of course. So we think the controllers will be exactly the same, but it's possible they may have changed them, although I don't think so. The speakers will be exactly the same, developed by Valve. Will they fix the speaker glitch? We don't know, because guys, by the way, with the HP Reverb G2, excuse me, there's actually an issue. Okay, my light, there you go. There's actually an issue with the speakers here. So when you turn the speakers, right, depending on where you turn it, it actually causes some crackling. So is this something they'll fix in the Omnicept, or is this something that, is just part of the design, and unfortunately, it can only be fixed in the next HP headsets, which will use a different technology, because it's a magnet technology for the speakers, where you actually, the connection here in between the headset and the speaker is like a little magnet or something. It's just you have to screw it on, but there's no wires. You just take it off. Everything is really cool. It's pretty intelligent technology. But I'm just saying that there are issues with the speakers, and I've done videos about that. Do go and check out in the link. Sorry, not in the link. On the channel, go and search for speakers HP Reverb G2. You'll see it. VR Essentials. We did a whole video on this. So will this be fixed in the Omnicept as well? Is a question that we will be very interesting to see whether will be answered. We know it will be 4K. That we know it will be 90 Hertz. But can the 90 Hertz be be bumped up through a software update? Is my question. Can it be bumped up to 120, for example? Who knows? We don't know. But for now, we think that the Omnicept will be 90 Hertz refresh rate. It will probably use OLED and LCD as well, same as the current HP Reverb G2. And also, there we go. So the sensor, yes, we can confirm it will be definitely under. This is the facial tracker. So the facial tracker will be placed under the actual VR headset itself. And then the actual other tracker to track the heartbeat will probably be here on the actual facial interface. I think that's where it will be. So if the tracker will be on the facial interface, does this mean that we'll be able to wash the facial interface? Sorry to ask that question. But where's the other tracker? I think it's on the other video, on the video here. Okay, there we go. So the tracker. Okay, here we go. So this is the tracker, right? Now, if the tracker for the heart rate is on the actual facial interface, okay, which let's assume that it looks like it's that way at the moment. So if it's on here, right, on the facial interface, then does this mean that, is there a cutout in the facial interface? Or is it built on the facial interface? Can we clean the facial interface? Can we change the facial interface? What if the facial interface gets damaged? I think this is quite an interesting query to ask ourselves in terms of, is it going to be practical? Can we remove the facial interface and then this is just, part of the design? Is this built on the actual HP and then we can remove the facial interface? Or is this built on the facial interface and then there's some kind of magnetic technology behind it? So when you remove it, there are no wires, just connectors. And then you just connect inside of the facial interface. I think that's potentially another interesting question we can ask ourselves in terms of the pulse. It would be great if HP could send us a VR headset. I would love it if they could. I don't know if they will, to be honest with you, because it sounds like it's going to be very expensive. And, we don't have thousands and thousands of followers at the moment. So let's not get our hopes up. But, we are a channel ambassador to HP. So it's possible they may send us a VR headset. So HP, if you could send us a VR headset for us to take a look at and check, I think that would be really, really interesting. So we can actually, get to see what it will actually look like. Hey, Bert. Hey, Lungu. Thanks for joining the stream. Nice to meet you. So you were saying, I have the G2 and cannot say I'm blown away. Well, we're not blown away. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, but I'm very happy with it. Honestly, I'm very happy with it. I think in terms of graphics, I am blown away. But that's because I used to use the Oculus Quest before, and now I use the the Pico. So there's definitely a difference between the Pico and the HP Reverb G2, I'll tell you that. And there's definitely a big difference between the HP Reverb G2 and the Oculus Quest that I used to use before, for sure. With the Oculus Quest, I was not able to read fonts that was small. I was not able to. With the HP Reverb G2, I can tell you now my fonts very readable, very clear. I am quite blown away by the graphics, I have to admit. I'm not blown away by the tracking and those kind of things, but I'm blown away by the graphics for sure. Yes, Lungo, that's very true, that the eye and the heart rate tracking made very good for lie detectors for sure. Let's talk about data. Let's talk about privacy, guys. I think this is something that, you know, perhaps we should definitely talk about a little bit more now, because now obviously the biggest difference between Facebook and HP is that Facebook have a social media platform. Simple. HP do not. Simple. However, HP are in cahoots with who? Microsoft. Microsoft don't have a social media platform yet. However, they do have a VR social media platform, which is Altspace. Now, let me tell you something very quickly. We won't take too long on this subject. Facebook, the reason why there's an issue with them is because apparently, allegedly, I can't confirm or deny it, of course, but there have been numerous documentaries and also executives from the company who have come forward to say that they use the data to not only, how can I put it clearly? Basically, the data they use is not for us to see the correct ad. That's not what the data is used for. Okay, let me make it very clear to you. It's not so that when we go on Facebook, by the way, we've deleted our Facebook account, so I can't say we anymore. It's not so that when you, if you have a Facebook account, go onto Facebook, see an ad that's relevant to you. No, that's not it. That's not why the data is taken at all. That is not it. It's so that the ad they show you changes your buying habit, basically. So it means that when your friend, let's say that your friend went to a shopping mall, okay, and they bought a new Hoover, a new Dyson Hoover, all right? Let's just say Dyson Hoover, not sponsored. And your friend says, oh, I bought this new Hoover, check it out, so cool. Now, obviously that is your friend who's posting something in their feed. It's not a paid ad. Now, Facebook, let's say that this friend, you didn't see their posts for a while, because Facebook can only show X amount of posts from X amount of friends in your feed, okay? Facebook are going to, now let's say that you were thinking of getting something for your home, a Hoover, all right, for your home, or you were looking for some accessories to help to clean your house, all right? And they were able to track that through your activity online, okay? So what Facebook will do is take the data and show you that feed in your Facebook feed to influence your buying habit. So eventually you would buy a Dyson. And what they will also do, obviously, if Dyson are paying Facebook advertising fee to do a new campaign, they will then show you that Dyson ad in the feed as well, influencing you to buy a Dyson product. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? So that's why they use the data. They don't use it to show you an ad that's relevant to you. They take your data to change your buying habit, to influence your buying habit, so that eventually you buy a product A that you may not need, and B, buy the product that's featured from a specific company. That's what Facebook does. And they do the same thing with political governmental elections. They will do the same thing. They will show, or COVID-19, whatever. They will show you feeds of your friends in your Facebook feed based on the data that they took, that they tracked from you to influence who you'll vote for, to influence whether you should take the COVID-19 vaccine, or whether you should take the Pfizer or the whatever other brands that are provided. This is what Facebook does. This is why Facebook is such a, it's been sued by everybody, and it's such a taboo topic. So when we talk about privacy and data, basically when you have Microsoft at the moment can't do that. They can't influence your buying habit at the moment because they don't have a social networking platform, and they're dying to buy one. They're dying to buy one. They might actually put an offer for Discord. Discord is used by millions of different people, and unfortunately they could use Discord to gather even more data from us to eventually put it on their Allspace. Allspace could become the next Facebook, right? Of the VR world, and then you'll have a special feed in Facebook, in Allspace, or in Facebook Horizon, whatever. You'll go in a special world where there's all these different feeds everywhere, or the feeds could be the people, right? Because we're moving more towards artificial intelligence. There was an article that came out not too long ago about I think it was Stanford University, who created some bots. Now, these were not VR bots. They were just algorithmic bots who could actually think and talk. Now, this algorithm could be implemented back into, and who had emotions. Sorry, they were able to have emotions. So they could take these algorithms, put it into an Allspace bot character, and then boom, you're talking to a VR character, who's a bot, and these bots will eventually be able to influence your buying habit, because obviously you'll be able to have a conversation with these bots, and these bots will be able to come up with a topic of conversation with you that will influence your buying habit subliminally, because it's all done, of course, subliminally. It's not done in your face. It's a very soft way of doing it. So all these sensors, all these kind of things, we could also argue that is dangerous for the future of privacy, because obviously all these headsets will have all this data about our heart rate. They'll know what's going to make us tick, basically. I mean, guys, if we're talking about, if we go back to the article by Upload VR, we're talking about a VR headset that can track the size of our pupils. Come on, why? For what reason? It's why? I mean, it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing technology. It is freaking amazing, right? This is, this is Iron Man kind of stuff, right? But why? So at the end of the day, we're talking about, now the topic we're talking about is about privacy. It's about data tracking. These headsets, HP don't have a social media platform, but they are in cahoots with Microsoft, and it's only time that Microsoft will have their own social networking platform at some stage to be able to influence our buying habits, as Facebook will do, or does already, sorry. And when Facebook releases their next Oculus Quest, if it has all these tracking kind of things, then obviously they're going to be using all these technologies to pull all this. I mean, Facebook can already, by the way, track 2 million data points every 20 minutes. I mean, that is pretty amazing, including anything outside of your your peripheral vision, because the cameras, and also any of the conversations that you have with people inside of the VR headset, as well as all your gaming activities. It's pretty amazing as to what they can track. Now, obviously, HP can track all this data as well. We know that. And we know that this data could potentially be shared with Microsoft, because the software they're using, obviously, is Windows Mixed Reality. So is this really safe for the future of VR to have all these different tracking things? We don't know. I know it's not very, it doesn't sound great to talk about this, but it is something that's pretty important to talk about nonetheless, I think, right? So, So basically, yeah, so very interesting in terms of, you know, privacy, data tracking with the HP Omnicept. You know, how will developers be able to use this pulsating heart rate thing? Will they be provided with analytical graphs so that, you know, excuse me, some air trapped there, so that, you know, they'll be able to know, oh, especially for example, roller coaster kind of apps, or you know, horror kind of apps, or, you know, any app that gets your heart going. You know, will they be able to have these kind of graphs that tell them, oh, okay, it gives them 90 RPM or whatever it might be, so that they don't potentially give heart attacks to people? Like, I mean, it could be interesting. You know, let's move on to the topic about how this data could be used in VR apps. You know, potentially, you know, it could mean that, for example, if we just go here, so it could mean, for example, you could have, if we, let's go to, so it could mean, for example, that you're going to be playing some Arizona Sunshine, for example, right? And then perhaps you have two different versions of Arizona Sunshine, which would be the safe version and then the extreme version. So perhaps in the safe version, it would just be the one that we know today, which is, you know, just whatever we're used to. And then the extreme version, which is really going to make your heart pumping and really potentially going to stretch things to the outer limit. But, you know, only people who can really stomach it will be allowed to play it. So that means that you will have to perhaps play the first version, unlock that version of the extreme version. That's very possible that perhaps this is what developers eventually could do. Or they could create a VR app where, you know, the first 10 minutes are free and it's a demo kind of version, and then you unlock it because, I don't know, it knows, the app knows that you can obviously withstand it, and then, you know, it unlocks the entire app for you because it knows you're okay, you won't die from it, you won't have a heart attack from it or something like that, and you'll be able to, boom, you know, enjoy the app. That is also very possible. So perhaps in the app development kind of future, perhaps that will happen. And then also you were, Lugan, you were you know, mentioned about light detecting. It's very possible that perhaps future apps will also have these. So perhaps we'll have some apps where you know, you'll you know, perhaps you'll have future apps where there'll be some light detecting to do. Tell the truth, or else you cannot move on to the next part of the game. Very possible. Or maybe there'll be some apps where you have to lie, but it has to come off as true. Who knows? Maybe you'll have to, you know, bypass the lie detector somehow. So very possible. Or perhaps, you know, it'll be used to, you know, how you have these movies where you can choose a different scenario of whatever happens next in the plot of the movie, and perhaps light detecting will be used to, you know, say, okay, version one of whatever happens in the game is based on whatever you say. So that's also very, very possible. So very exciting in terms of how potentially people could use these technologies with the heart rates, you know, and all these kind of things, I think, in the deployment of games. So Lungu, businesses will be able to use the eye and pupil sensors to track user focus, enabling both attention analysis and foveated rendering. Yes, exactly. You'll definitely be able to do that. So again, we were just mentioning earlier what this means basically is that when you see the glass, so the glass, whatever you look at you know, at the front, so the glass here is obviously in focus, and then if you look behind, then the glass will no longer be in focus, but the stuff behind will then be in focus. So that's basically what foveated rendering. I think it's very exciting to, you know, to have that in the Omnicept. Yeah, I heard it can cut the rate. So basically, But I think what's great is that, you know, this means better graphics, we hope, right? So they could bump up those graphics. I think they'll be fantastic. You know, if that's what it means, if indeed it means that we can have better graphics, then we can, you know, up our anti-aliasing, we can up, you know, the processing. I've been doing so many different videos about, you know, No Man's Sky. By the way, new video coming, part 2 of No Man's Sky. I was going to put it last night, but obviously this video, this live stream came today. So I'll be posting that tomorrow. So do hit these enable notification bell after you subscribe, because I will be posting the No Man's Sky part 2 graphics video. So YouTube tells you in your video feed when I upload it. And of course I did some whole graphic comparison videos with Assetto Corsa Competizione, and we're going to do a whole bunch more as well. So does this mean that we can up the processing, up the, you know, all these different things? And also, does this mean that this new SDK could potentially be adapted to current games, or will it be only available on new apps? So that's also, I think, a question that, you know, HP could answer in the future, because of course, if next year, as we mentioned before, HP will release a new VR headset to compete with potential new standalone VR headsets, you know, and they're going to adapt the Omnicept technology inside of them, then how fast can developers, you know, obviously keep track? How fast can they adapt this thing to, you know, new to current apps that already exist? That's going to be very interesting. Bert, you were saying, yeah, it's all about advancing the resolution slider. Yeah. And I haven't tried the RTX 360 or 380 or whatever, but I think it would be, I hope I can afford it someday, because it would be really, really amazing to, you know, 2070 still has so many limits. It seems that 380 perhaps you can do much more with it. So for those who have that graphics card, good on you, and I have fun with it. All right, guys, so very exciting. We've been doing the stream for quite a while. Let me just put one last key for you guys. Let me just check. Okay, let me go and get a key. So let's do another Carnage Chronicle key. Okay, there we go. So we're gonna do another Steam key, guys. All right, of Carnage Chronicle. Let me type in the feeds. So Carnage Chronicle key giveaway. Any issues with the keys, guys, please let me know. Please get back to us. You can email us at ask.info@vressentials.io. And also do subscribe to our Twitter, which is vressentials1 for Twitter. And remember to enable the, as I mentioned before, the notification bell on YouTube. So YouTube can basically tell you when we upload the video to your feed. So basically how it works is you have all your videos, right? In your feed, if you don't enable notifications, it won't show up. But if you enable notifications, it will show up in your feed. So do make sure you press that so you know when we upload new videos. So all right, let's do the giveaway of Carnage Chronicles, and thanks to Carnage Chronicles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here you go. Any issues with the keys, please let me know. All right, there we go. Here's the Steam key for you. And I will do one last recap before we'll end the stream. So welcome to everybody who's just joined the live stream. Please skip to 20 minutes, anyone who just joined, because we had audio issues. And guys, we will do one more key giveaway before the end of this video as well, okay? Just to let you know. I will do a different key this time. So one last recap of today. Obviously, we're talking about the HP Omnicept. And as I said, welcome to those who are just joining the live stream right now. And thanks for, you know, our regular subscribers and viewers who also for joining us continuously too. So Omnicept, just to recap everything one last time, HP are releasing the HP Omnicept. They're going to be releasing it, you know, next month in May. and it's going to cost $1,249 right? And it's going to be for the enterprise market. However, the question that I asked earlier was, in 2022 and also in 2021, let's not forget that Pico are releasing next month the Pico Neo 3 in China, which means it will be released worldwide very soon after that. HTC are releasing the first VR standalone headset this year. Next year we have Apple confirmed releasing new headset, standalone headset. We have Facebook releasing a new headset next year. So that's 4. We have currently the HTC Focus, which is a standalone. That's 5. We have Valve, who are going to release a new standalone wireless VR headset next year. That's 6. And potentially, we have 2 or 3 other brands releasing a tethered PC VR headset next year. So next year, between next month to middle of next year, we have 7 to 8 different VR headsets, which means the Omnicept technology, which is costing $1,249 First of all, is this the new norm in VR because HTC just released the Facial Tracker? Are all the future VR headsets now expected to have some kind of facial tracking technology inside of it? That's the first question I'd like to know. And if so, are HP going to be releasing their next G3 or whatever it might be called next year? And we know that they're working on a wireless standalone VR headset too, because we can expect it. It's logical that they are. So if the new headset they're going to release, is it going to be a standalone? And if so, will they release a new tethered headset next year? If not, who knows? But will it incorporate the Omnicept technology? And if it does, we can say that the next headset will be a consumer headset, which means the price will be less than $1,000 US. So in conclusion, why would you want to buy an Omnicept today if you can buy the next HP with the Omnicept technology in it tomorrow in a year's time at half the price? So that's the question we're asking. That's the first thing. Second thing, now what's inside of the Omnicept? Well, we know that what's inside of the Omnicept, of course, is going to be various different things. So first of all, they're going to have a tracker that enables you to track the size of your pupils. Your iris, it changes, it modifies micro, right? If I take my light, my iris will change size depending on how bright the light is, right? So it can actually know, it will track when your iris changes size. That's just bloody crazy. Why? For what purpose? Please. It's amazing. It's Iron Man stuff, but it's crazy. Then the other thing that we know is it will have a heart rate pulse tracker, which will be able to track your heart rate. Amazing. Again, Iron Man stuff, right? So developers will now be able to create apps that will basically be able to enhance our heart rate or slow it down. Excuse me. It will be able to consciously know when your heart rate will go up and when it will go down, because at the moment, when you create a roller coaster experience, obviously the heart rate goes up, but we don't know by how much. When you create a relaxing app with sea scenery, sea landscape, and the waves, obviously the heart rate goes down. But by how much? We don't know. This technology will be able to give developers analytic analytical data to know how far they can bump down the heart rate or bump it up. Basically, our heart rate is going to become a number for developers to play around with, to toy around with, if you were, right? This also means that developers will be able to create apps that can basically be unlocked eventually, I would imagine, based on the experience that we can handle. If we can stomach an experience that potentially can really give you a big fright or high heart rate, we can then play that. If not, we will not be able to play it. The other tracker that it has will also be this one, which is the facial expression tracker. So the facial expression tracker will be placed below the headset. It'll be underneath the headset. So I'm trying to, it will be placed here. So it'll be under the headset. So this will be the facial expressions tracker. Very similar to what HTC have just released not too long ago, which will be the facial, the facial tracker that they just released. So we know it will be under the headset. And however, coming back to the heart rate tracker for 1 minute, we know that it's going to be on the facial interface. So it's going to be on here, on this part of the headset. This part up here. Come on, can you focus on me, please, camera? Okay, there we go. So it's going to be in the middle here. On here. Now, what I think is very interesting, guys, is if we look at the actual, where it is this going to be put on the facial cushion, or is the facial cushion going to have a die-cut hole, and then when you remove it, this will still be on the headset? And if not, can I remove? If it's not going to have a die-cut hole, that means if it's going to be on the cushion, can we remove the facial interface? Because if we can't, how are we gonna, if it gets damaged, the facial interface, or we want to change it, then how does that work? And if it can be removed, does that mean that this part below will be a little bit like the speakers, which means there will be no wires, but just some connectors? And if so, we know that the connectors on the speakers so far are not great, because depending on how you move the speakers, right? Depending on where you move them, what happens is basically they will get some crackling. There's some issues with the connectors. So that's a factor that's known for us HP Reverb G2 users. There's quite a number of us who have this issue. So these are some of the questions I'd like to know. Will it have cables? Will it be a die cut? Will it be on the facial interface? If not, can we remove the facial interface? I think these are some of the things that would be interesting to find out more about. And then the other thing, of course, that we know is that the resolution will be the same as the HP Reverb G2. We also know that the speakers will be exactly the same as the HP Reverb G2, and we also most probably can assume it will be 90 Hz refresh rate. However, can HP bump up the refresh rate through a software update? We don't know. So, or have they made any other modifications? We're also quite unsure about that. And then the other thing that we know is that according to the trailer, how you tighten the actual headset itself will be very similar to the Pico, which is you have this thing here. And I love this. It's so easy to... The Pico is such a cool headset, guys, I have to say. The only reason why I haven't done much more videos about it is because it doesn't have an IPD adjustment. So I can't recommend it to everybody. But honestly, fantastic headset. So So yeah, so it will have the thing here at the back, just like the Pico. Just like the Pico here. So that's what we know. So it would be very different to the current, HP Reverb G2, which obviously has the Velcro here. So that's what we know as well. All right, let me just close this. So then the other thing is, there apparently will also be implementing an SDK for developers to be able to basically adapt a new kind of spatial sound. So people will know, basically, if you enter a cave, then, things will, they'll be able to, record the experiences of the spatial audio. So if you move, as I said, if you go into a cave, the sound will be very echoey. If you're in a small room, then the sound will be much more dry. So it'll be very interesting to see how developers can adapt that technology as well. The Pico Neo 2 costs between $600 and $1,000 for the Pico Neo 2i, which also has, by the way, foveated rendering. So the HP Omnicept, if I go back to the, where are you? Here. So the HP Omnicept is going to have foveated rendering, which basically means, if I just do this exercise one more time, basically it means that whatever is at the front, whatever you're looking at will be in focus. So for example, this glass, the camera is looking at this glass at the moment. So the background is blurry. And then if it focuses on the background, then the glass will be in focus. So this is supposed to help to bump up the settings for the graphics. So this is great for us PC VR users, because we'll be able to bump up, the anti-aliasing and the post-processing and, all these kind of things. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. So I have foveated rendering basically. And then what else we know is going to be released next month, $1,249. So yeah, so basically that's it. And then we spoke about as well today about data and privacy, because at the end of the day, we know that social networks can influence our buying habits by showing us messages in feeds, to influence our buying habits subliminally. So we only see certain feeds based on the algorithm that it wants us to see. So perhaps we didn't think about wanting to clean our house, and then suddenly we see feeds, we see messages from our friends say, oh, I did a spring cleaning, oh, I cleaned this, and then suddenly we're like, oh, maybe I should do some cleaning, and then suddenly we see ads about Hoovers, and then we see Dyson, and oh, maybe I should buy you go to a shop, and then you're in the shop and you buy Dyson, you don't even know why. That's basically what social media networks do by tracking our data. They influence our buying habits. Or, there's an election going on. You're like, who should I vote for? Should I vote for this guy or that woman, that guy, this guy, that woman? I don't know. And then suddenly you see all these feeds in your social media go, oh, I voted for this person. Oh, I voted for that person. And then you go out somewhere and then you see a poster and you see this, and then you go to the voting booth and then suddenly you vote for this person and you didn't even know why. You're like, why did I vote for that person? Oh, I know, because I was subliminally influenced by all these different messages that were influenced by the social media platform, i.e. Facebook. So all this data we spoke about, is it safe to have all these companies? Because HP obviously don't have a social network. However, Microsoft don't have a social network yet, but they're really inching their way into it, and they really want one, because they want to do what Facebook have, which is to be able to influence our buying habits. So is AllSpace VR being the next, social media VR platform, that, because obviously it's owned by Microsoft. So will they have bots in the future that can influence our buying habits that way, instead of, seeing feeds in your social media? Who knows? Only the future will tell. But basically, all these new things, we spoke about privacy and data, all these new things that are being, Iris, being able to monitor our iris, the size of our iris, that's crazy. It's going to know everything about you, about us, sorry, not just you, us. It's going to know what makes us tick. It's going to know what makes us whatever, everything. It's going to know everything about us, everything. So, you know, is it safe for the future of VR? You know, that's also a question I think we need to ask ourselves. And then finally, we spoke about as well the 2% revenue share. So basically, developers who want to implement the SDK, if they want to do it for educational purpose or for some commercial business purpose, they're also going to have, and also if they want to have the ability to implement the HP VR spatial audio as well as the inference engine, then they're going to have to pay a 2% revenue share of the profit. So we spoke about this. I think HP is definitely going to have to, you know, explain a bit more what this means. 2% of what? If I create an app to teach people English or French or something, or to teach you how to build a car or whatever. Excuse me, some trap there. Do I have to give you 2% of my profit share? What? Why? If I make $1 million, why would I want to give you 2%? That's 20,000 US dollars. It's a lot of money. Why would I want to pay you 20,000? For what purpose? Why? Why not just charge me a fee, $500 a month? Why can't you just do that? You know, I don't want to give you 20,000 of my 1 million, or, you know, let's say I make 10 million. I got to give you 200,000 US dollars and my 100 million, 10 million? No. Why? For what purpose? I think this is something that HP really have to. I'm not saying that's what they're going to do. I'm just saying that that's how it reads, and there's no fine print. There's no fine print there. So I think HP, maybe my recommendation would be to perhaps just clarify what this means, because I'm not sure in terms of a product strategy whether this is really going to work for companies who, I mean, I don't know, I could be completely wrong. Maybe, you know, your average company, multinational, whatever, will be very happy to give you the 2%. And obviously you've done your research. Obviously you know what you're talking about. Obviously you know your data, and, you know, so very possible that you know exactly what you're doing, and great if you feel that this is the way to go. I'm just saying that I don't know whether this is something personally I would be comfortable doing as a company owner who's run companies before, you know, to give you 2%. That's all I'm saying, you know, but perhaps I'm wrong. So perhaps you may want to just clarify, what is this 2% about? What 2% do I have to give you? 2% of what exactly? I think that would be great to provide, you know, some more details. All right, guys, I'm going to do one last key giveaway, and then we're going to stop the stream. So let me just check the comments very quickly. Yeah, no, exactly. All right, so one last key giveaway. Okay. Let me see what we can give away. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, there's a game that's pretty cool. Maybe a lot of you haven't done it before. It's called Tenertia. Tenertia is pretty awesome. It's also a Steam VR game. If you like role-playing puzzle games, then this is definitely something that you guys will enjoy quite a lot. So let me type in the thing there. Okay, so hi SRIOL, nice to meet you. Thanks for popping by to the channel. So last Steam key giveaway. So coming up. So do subscribe to our Twitter if you haven't. Twitter is VR Essentials 1, and also enable your notifications on YouTube, so YouTube can tell you when I upload the next videos to the actual channel. You're so wrong. I guess you guys are having your own little conversations there. All right. So all right, so key giveaway in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, there we go. Any issues with the keys, guys, please email us at ask.info@vressentials.io. Okay? Please email us there. So so basically, guys, we're going to end the stream very soon. So guys, HP Omnicept releasing next month, $1,249 US. But next year, between next month and 12 months from now, we're going to have 7 new headsets out in the market, including Facebook with an Oculus Quest Pro, Valve with a wireless standalone VR headset. We know they're working on it. HTC with a new standalone wireless VR headset. The Pico Neo 3. Apple with a new VR headset. And potentially 2-3 other VR headsets will be coming out as well. So guys, are HP going to release the Omnicept technology and the next HP Reverb G3 or whatever it might be called next year? And in that case, would it be priced half the price? Would it be $600 US with more or less the same technology as the current Omnicept? Which means, should people buy the Omnicept today, or should they wait a year from today and buy the next G3, which could be, by the way, wireless and standalone as well? Which means, would HP continue with a PC VR version? Who knows? But guys, thank you very much for coming today. Wingro, thanks again for coming. Merci beaucoup à toi. Appreciate it. Thank you very much for joining today's stream. This is it. We're off. We're out. We're gone. We're going. That's it. HP G2 content. Hit the subscribe button, and also you're enable the notifications as well, so YouTube can tell you when the next video will be posted in your video feed. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I'll see you in the next video. Au revoir.